Henry Cronqvist, and I'm the Dean of the Argus College of Business and Economics at Chapman University in Southern California. And we're really excited today to be talking to Enoch Cheng, who is a graduate of the class of 2019 and who has made a career in finance and who is currently with State Street.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tori Nguyen. I am the class of 2026, and I am your Argyles College Business and Economics Senator. Welcome to our first guest, Enoch, and I'm so happy to share a lot of fun facts about him. One really interesting fun fact is Enoch is now placed in New York, and he has graduated from Chapman. So, Enoch, my first question for you is, what is it like taking risks, moving around from California to Chapman to all these other locations?
Yeah, ultimately, I think for people who want to work on Wall Street in traditional hard finance careers, it's essential to move somewhere where there are abundance of jobs and opportunities. And so New York City, for better or for worse, is that place. And so I just felt that at some point in my career, when I had the opportunity, that I should have moved to New York, which is why, I moved to New York for a prior role of mine, and now back in New York after 2 years in Boston.
So a little bit related to that, Enoch. So you actually grew up in Hawaii, so on the islands out there, and then now you're in New York. So that's very far away from each other. And in between, both geographically and also in terms of your career, was Chapman. So tell us a little bit about how Chapman and your education here helped you out pursuing your finance career.
I think Chapman does a good job of preparing people with the basic financial knowledge, right? There's like an emphasis in finance within the BSBA degree, which is very helpful. And a lot of the professors have either, worked in finance or know a lot of people who work in finance. So yeah, the curriculum is tailored quite well. And I'd say the career services, was a big help in interview prep and writing a resume and things like that. And obviously there are a lot of different organizations and clubs that I can talk about, right, that would be helpful to join.
Definitely. Maybe you can say a few things about some of the clubs and organizations that you were part of.
Yeah, so I was part of Chapman Investment Group as well as Residency, and those are groups that manage part of Chapman's endowment, and both are run by Professor Fidel Lawandi. And they're both, I guess, invite-only programs where you have to apply and kind of explain, why you want to do it. But essentially, you get to help manage and pitch on the Chapman endowment. And our endowment's actually one of the biggest in the country. So it's a really unique opportunity to do that. And beyond that, also learn how to use a Bloomberg, which is essential in a lot of these finance jobs. In addition to that, we offer at Chapman Wall Street Prep, which is, very helpful. The curriculum that you go through when taking the Wall Street Prep course is the exact curriculum you would go through coming out of college if you were to recruit into like an analyst program in an investment bank or equity research firm. And obviously then there are also a lot of classes that you can take. Lawandi teaches a lot of great classes. So does Professor Terry Burnham. But one class that not a lot of people know about or take is Finance 421, which is with Professor Mark DeSantis. And that class is fixed income and derivatives, right? I find that a lot of finance majors know a lot about equities and things like that, just because the curriculum is structured around that. But yeah, taking fixed income and derivatives helps you, develop an additional skill set in the debt markets, which are much larger than the equity markets.
Just one more quick follow-up on that. So, a lot of different business schools, they have a student managed investment fund, and we have that at Chapman as well, where the students is making recommendations for which stocks should be invested in and divested from the portfolio. But at Chapman, we also have this residency program that you mentioned. So what are some of the highlights about that program? What is it like?
Yeah, you meet every week with Lawandi, and we all come up with ideas to pitch, right? We each are assigned a specific sector. So whether that's like US equities or international equities or fixed income or real estate, each of us are kind of on a team and we pitch and discuss and things like that. So yeah, that piece is super helpful. And a great experience.
That's really great. I know that we were just talking about clubs and things like that at Chapman, but maybe you can talk about the internships that you also have had as well. I know right now a lot of people are struggling to find it or within applications, so maybe you have recommendations from your time here that we can apply for as well.
Yeah, I did a number of internships, and I think the idea is that typically internships will open up this as early as the summer prior, right? Like let's say that somebody wanted to intern this summer in 2024. Well, those applications typically come out, those came out in September of 2023 or October of 2023 at the latest. And so, a lot of our interns, for example, for this summer, we had already chosen by, January or like the December of last year, January of this year. And so a lot of it is just keeping your eye out and, staying up to date on all of that. I did to your point, I did a number of internships. I did one at Experian in FP&A, which is, more of like a traditional financial planning and accounting internship. I wasn't super interested in that after doing that 6-month internship there. Experian is a company that recruits at our Chapman Career Fair, so I definitely look into that. I interned at UBS Wealth Management, which is at the Fashion Island location. That was through a Chapman alum who was working at UBS at the time. He's no longer at UBS. I think he's moved to Morgan Stanley. But yeah, that's always a good way is to look up Chapman alums and see if they in the area and see if they're offering any internships. And then lastly, I did an internship at a middle market investment bank with somebody that was connected to Chapman that I was introduced through one of my professors. And that was an investment banking internship where I was able to build pitch decks and do market research and different things like that, and was able to get exposed to kind of that area of finance.
What I hear you say, Enoch, is like not only taking courses as a student is important, it's also super important to do the internships, to network, do the co-curricular activities that are available. Talking about co-curricular activities, we have a program called Walk Down Wall Street, and you were part of it. We've actually done it since the late 1990s. So basically once a year, we send a group of students all the way from Southern California to Wall Street, where you are now. Tell us a little bit about that program and how was that helpful for you, given that, you ended up in the industry?
Yeah, so Walk Down Wall Street, when I did it, was rising seniors. I believe now the program is rising juniors, but in any case, there's typically 20 to 25 students that some faculty and the dean pick to go to Wall Street for a week. And basically the idea is that you go there and you meet with a lot of finance alums, you go to a lot of events, and then you also do a lot of these, networking things at the big firms, whether that's JP Morgan or Goldman or State Street, right, in our case. And you learn from Chapman alums there that, kind of tell you what opportunities are available, what you need to know, things like that. In terms of, what I took away from it is I kind of learned just how steep the competition is. I learned the timeline for analyst recruiting, which was, a lot earlier than I had initially thought. And, a lot of the alums gave great pointers and tips. There was one alum that, after our formal meeting, told all the people in my cohort, right, if you want to stay around for an hour, like I'll pick apart each and every one of your resumes, right, and person by person. So that was super helpful and really bolstering my resume and helping with all of that. And I mean, ultimately, a lot of the people in my cohort did get jobs from Walk Down Wall Street. I didn't directly get a job from Walk Down Wall Street, but it's still very helpful.
That's really great. And I'd like to share that you seem so knowledgeable about your job and within itself. So maybe you can talk a little bit about your company and if you always wanted to go into finance here at Chapman. A lot of people have redirections and more places to find success. So did you always want to go into that industry?
Yeah, I've never been very interested in STEM. A lot of my classmates ended up going to med school or becoming engineers or whatnot. I always thought my greatest strength and interests lied, in the financial markets and in client service. And so that, ultimately is the direction that I went at State Street.
So Enoch, the finance industry is a lot of different things. It's investment banking, it's commercial banking, lending, and it is wealth management, which is where you have spent most of your time up to this point, first with Goldman Sachs and out here in Southern California, now with State Street in New York. Maybe for our students that don't know so much about the wealth management industry, maybe you can outline a little bit what are the different career trajectories that you can have within that industry.
Yeah, so in terms of that field, right, like to your point, I've spent a lot of time in the wealth management space. I think wealth management ultimately rolls up to the greater asset management industry, which is one of the buy-side type, I guess, opportunities. I mean, to your point, there's investment banking, there's corporate FP&A, equity research, right? A number of different types of things. But I'll just speak to kind of asset management and asset managers and how they are typically broke up. And so typically at each asset manager, you'll have kind of three main forward-facing, client-facing business lines. And so those three are portfolio management, investment strategy, and client coverage. So in portfolio management, which also encompasses capital markets, these are the people that are building the products, right? The financial products, whether those are mutual funds, ETFs, model portfolios, separately managed accounts, unified managed accounts, right? Structured notes, different things like that. And so those are the people, managing the actual products. I would also group capital markets people into that. And capital markets people are the ones trading the actual funds, making sure that we maintain good liquidity, right? So that when you want to buy, I don't know, like a share of some company at $5, that you're paying $5. You're not paying, $5.10, right? Or something like this. Really, the second piece that's at an asset manager's investment strategy, and that encompasses strategy and research, right? So strategy would be all of the white papers you might see, right? Like people that publish a sector outlook, a year-end outlook, right? Our thoughts on perhaps the Russia-Ukraine conflict, or the Israel-Palestinian conflict, or the China-Taiwan conflict, right? Subject matter experts in that space. And then there are the client-facing people who are just called the strategists, who, sometimes I travel with, right? If a client wants to know, what our view on, below investment grade Japanese bonds are, right? Like I would bring a strategist who's specializing in that area. So that's investment strategy. And then thirdly, there's client coverage, which I am in. And the role of client coverage is to be, the client's direct point of contact. And those are typically broken up by group and geography. So for example, like I'm in the Americas wealth coverage, and I specifically cover the Mid-Atlantic for State Street, and the product I cover is model portfolios, right? So, I mean, obviously there's different types of clients and different types of geographies, right? Like we have a Mexico team, we have a pensions team, we have a hedge fund team, right? Those are all, different clients we cover. And then geographically, we cover, the entire world. I'm in the Americas team because I cover advisors in America.
Great. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today. We have been talking to Enoch Cheng, who made the journey all the way from Hawaii through Chapman and now to Wall Street in New York and with State Streets. Thank you so much for your time today. We learned a lot about what it takes to go into the industry. We look forward to staying in touch with you, and look forward to your climbing up the ranks on Wall Street.
Thank you.